Star Stable did it again. They dug themselves an even deeper hole while they were in the middle of a whole separate controversy. Basically, they started using AI generated art now, which is great.
AI!
Now, Star Stable has addressed this issue as of January 19th, the day I'm filming this, and they actually have taken the AI art in question down, which is great, but given Star Stable's very long history of being steeped in drama, their response, while necessary, doesn't exactly come as a surprise to me. So today we're just going to go over what happened. We're going to go over Star Stable's response, because I feel like this topic, while not the same as Breyer's Beowulf controversy, is still really important to talk about, considering it gets into this whole idea of artists and their intellectual property rights. So for those of you who might not know about what Star Stable's other controversy is, they are currently in the middle of a boycott. Basically right now there's just a hashtag going around called #boycott_SSO. The boycott originally was started by, I believe, G.Dragoning on Instagram, and they posted the following, along with they sent an open letter to Star Stable, just kind of highlighting their grievances with the company, and even more specifically than that, the lack of Star Coin code offered during Star Stable's Winterfest event, which is a long-standing tradition that during the Winterfest event, Christmas, you'd get a Star Coin code, from my understanding. So people are upset. Apparently, we also didn't get a Star Coin code or Star Coins for Star Stable's birthday event. Ultimately, the hashtag grew in popularity, and Star Stable did end up giving players a New Year's Star Coin code. There's been some debate over whether or not this code was originally in Star Stable's system or not, but if you want more information on that, I recommend watching Rattle's video on it, though I will leave it up here or up here, I don't know, but I'll also have it down in the description. So essentially, this is where the whole boycott originated. And it was the following Tumblr post that reignited, at least on my feed, people's calls for a boycott. So let's dig into the Tumblr post, shall we? Shall we? All right, so this Tumblr post is by Jorvik Zelda. So Star Stable's Spotify header. That's essentially what we're talking about. We're talking about this image right here. I saw this on a little trip to Star Stable's Spotify page to see if they'd released any music without announcing it again, and went, this looks kind of weird. I sure hope they haven't stooped so low as to use AI for their promo material. And then I looked closer. First thing I noticed was the stirrups, or should I say stirrups, which if you look really closely at the stirrups, I don't even know what that is. Did they like employ someone who doesn't know how tack works? What is that? Also, I'm only noticing this as I'm writing the post, but why on earth does the boot not have proper laces or eyelets? Yeah. And what the f are these weird straps on the saddle? And the guitar straps aren't attached to the guitar? Actually, it can't be. But let me look at the hands just real quick. So there's so much going on. What are those straps? What saddle does that? Does anybody know? Can anybody assist? Look at that. That is how hand work. Hand works so good. There are 4 fingers there, and there's like a fist. What wants to be a fist? That's not very hand. Are they fucking using AI? I just want whoever wrote this to know that I love your voice in your writing. I actually ran this image through a couple of like, is it AI websites that Jack sent me, and all of them came back with, yeah, this is AI. There's even more trouble with like the piano doesn't look right. Like none of this looks right. And then if you look at the horse, look at how he's pulling the cart. So Star Stable did confirm in their response that this is AI generated material. So it's not just speculation or hearsay. Star Stable has confirmed it themselves. But let me finish covering all this and then we'll get into Star Stable's response. Okay, so Star Stable is using AI for their Spotify header. What exactly is the big deal? I mean, it's just Spotify header. Things start to look exceptionally grim when you take into account Star Stable fired or let go of at least 4 artists sometime last year. And it seems like at least one might have been laid off before that, given Helena Dahlgren stated in an Instagram post from April 2023 that she and Ellie, who, I'm so sorry, Ellie, I can't pronounce your username to save my life, were let go back in late October due to a reorganization that included cutting down on the books part of Star Stable Entertainment. Helena is, of course, the author behind Star Stable's book series, and then Ellie was an artist. You know, it's a whole big thing. If you look closer at a couple of profiles of other artists, you can also see that they are no longer working for the company. This isn't exactly off trend, though, given like 2022, 2023, lots of organizations, especially in the gaming space, started downsizing. You know, there was just this huge surge for a lot of these positions during COVID. And then after the pandemic, there wasn't as much demand. So companies had to start stepping back, restructuring, cutting off excess fat. I am very aware of what was happening in the gaming industry during this time because Jack, my boyfriend, works in the gaming industry, and even his company was experiencing a lot of cuts, and it was a very frightening and interesting time, I must say. So it's not surprising that Star Stable is having to cut back, especially given there's so many rumors that I keep seeing circulate online about Star Stable not exactly being in the best financial state. All of that combined, okay, you had to let go of some artists. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So the issue isn't that Star Stable laid off artists, it's that Star Stable laid off artists and now they've used AI to get art, which AI art directly undercuts and undermines the need for living, breathing artists. You don't have to pay an AI nearly as much as you have to pay an artist. And an AI can generate an image like that versus an artist, it's going to take some time to develop the image. So AI art is just so unethical, and Star Stable's timing on this, even if it was an accident, was just not great. I mean, AI theft is leading to plenty of lawsuits because, again, you're having this whole conversation of AI now infringing upon artists' intellectual property rights. Like, AI creates based off of data that it's fed, right? You have to feed AIs like Midjourney art in order for them to produce art. Midjourney and several other AI sites are currently in the midst of what looks to be a lawsuit. It's really hard to find information on this lawsuit, actually, which is very surprising. But the following tweet is crazy. It shows a whole list of 16,000 artists whose art was used to train these AI image generators without their consent. And the way that making laws work, it just can't keep up with the pace of technology. AI is truly like the new wild, wild west. Something more personal for me, for example, is I like to use this thing called character AI. I'm a bit of a Brittany broski. Like to get on there and, flirt with my fictional boyfriends because, in this case, it's relatively harmless considering I'm not a company and I'm not using it to make profit. I'm usually just tormenting a bot and it's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. But the AI that I'm talking to still had to scrape text from somewhere. It had to be fed data. And given the fact that I'll just be having a conversation with the AI bot and all of a sudden it'll respond in parentheses out of character like, OMG, I'm having so much fun. Like I've asked in parentheses out of character these bots, where do you live? Where do you work? What's your name? And they give you answers. They don't just, they don't like say, oh, I'm actually a robot. No. They full on give you answers. It's very, very clear that they're either scraping fan fiction websites or like roleplay websites. Probably both, if I had to guess. There's even an ethical question in that. And do I spend a lot of time training my own bots because I don't like how the other bots respond? Yeah, but at least I'm opting in and I know. I'm well aware that the thing that I write, this AI bot is going to take it, it's going to learn from it, and it's going to enter that whole system. And I am so sorry to everybody using character AI. I'm so sorry for the crimes that I've committed. AI is essentially a tool. And like most tools, humans struggle to figure out the legal and moral implications of using it. And I think that's why I really wanted to talk about this. It's not so much that it's like, okay, Star Stable did another oopsie. I can't wait to catch Star Stable on doing another oopsie. It's the fact that this is a conversation that all of society is in the middle of having, but also really needs to actually pay attention to. And companies very clearly, like Star Stable, need to put policies in place for all of their departments to be like, hey, we don't condone the use of AI art. Don't use it in any capacity whatsoever. It's probably a conversation that honestly, Star Stable might not have had to have with anybody outside of the art department. Considering, apparently, according to the response, this happened within the music department. I'm sorry. Why would I talk to a music guy of, hey, dude, you probably shouldn't generate an AI image to use for the Spotify header? Like, that's so weirdly specific. I would feel like I wouldn't have to tell somebody that, but clearly you gotta tell somebody that. Anyways, now let's get into Star Stable's response. So Star Stable addressed the issue on their Instagram story. They did like a Q&A type thing. And so somebody was like, using AI art or something? Like, that's not it.
We actually agree. Someone on our music team used that image when they needed something really last minute, and it was a mistake. We are supporting them through it because people make mistakes, and we are going to make sure it doesn't happen again in the future.
Before I get into this response, I want to make it very clear. Let's not harass any social media people. Okay, the social media people are not the ones who are in charge of steering this sort of narrative. That would be the PR and marketing people that are above them. So they are beholden to their overlords. There's so much with this statement that I just don't buy/have questions about. And it's not because I'm looking for drama. It's that I'm just genuinely confused, and Star Stable also has a history of addressing things after being called out and not actually changing their behavior. Like, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, we're sorry, but then they continue with the bad behavior, that kind of thing. I don't know, to me, this response, knowing Star Stable's history, to me, it's not enough. I just find it very hard to believe that the person in the music department didn't put in an asset request to an art department. Like if you want to change the header and you don't have the art for it, I'd be like, hey, yo, art department, or whoever might have this, you happen to have anything like this or anything I can use? And they'd be like, hey, yo, sure, here you go. And then they'd send it over. That's how it should be working. But I think what's more confusing than that is in this response, they're saying that this person needed it last minute. Last minute? Their Spotify had a banner already. A header, whatever it's called. They already had one. Unless you're just changing it impulsively, or unless something even weirder is happening, there's like a deadline to change the Spotify banner. Why are they doing it last minute? So they have to go to an AI. Just put in your art request or asset request or whatever needs to happen and wait before you change it. I don't understand. Does my confusion make sense? Because I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because everyone was like, oh yeah, they responded, it was just last minute. Dude, what do you mean? What do you mean last minute you wanted? No. What? Like, I can understand somebody just impulsively being like, oh, you know what would be really cool for the Spotify header? This. But they don't feel like jumping through the hoops of going to the art department, blah, 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 asking that. Like, I guess I can understand in that respect why they'd go to AI if they think using AI is okay. Like, I can forgive ignorance in that case. If that's genuinely what happened, okay. But I don't understand why you would phrase it to say they needed something last minute. Because that implies that there was a deadline. And then I'm just confused as to why are we putting deadlines on changing the Spotify banner? I just don't understand. And then more than that, the banner has been there since like December. There's been plenty of time to change it to something else if that was just like a placeholder. I just don't have enough trust in Star Stable as a company for them to tell me the truth or be genuine with me or genuinely learn from their actions. Because there's a pattern here. When confronted, Star Stable responds and fixes their behavior, but they just do this scummy shit all of the time, hoping no one will notice, and they only change their ways, again, when people notice. When confronted about the Star Coin codes, they quietly released, oh, look, it was for New Year's, and this narrative then circulated that, oh, guys, we're so ungrateful and so rude, they were gonna give us Star Coins the whole time, when, if you watch Rattle's video, no, they weren't. And then there's the whole A/B testing controversy, which that's just such a headache. That is a normal thing for gaming companies to do. And the way that they're framing it is, yeah, how it's supposed to work. But that's not how it's actually working. The way they just kind of tiptoed around people's concerns, the way they just kind of brushed it off like, yeah, we're doing it, but we promise it's ethical. You can trust us, guys. What? Why would I trust you with your track record? And now you have this AI thing, which you take down, and then you're going to claim someone was in a rush because they needed it last minute? Like, again, I can forgive ignorance. If this person just really was ignorant and they didn't know that there was a problem with it, or they didn't believe there was a problem with it, okay. That's fine. I'm cool if that's actually the issue. It feels like they genuinely claim as little accountability as possible without actually looking inward and trying to, like, fix the issues. And maybe the issues are just so deep rooted. Maybe everybody in this company just doesn't know what's going on. And maybe all of this is just accident over accident over accident. I don't know. It says a lot about Star Stable. And I understand why the community constantly feels so angry, because it's just like, dude, it's so much all the time. Anyways, I was not expecting to cover this video today. I wanted to cover Briar's whole changes to the BriarFest ticket thingy. Anyways, if you like this video, make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe, and leave a comment. How do you guys feel about Star Stable's response? Do you feel it was appropriate? Do you feel it was sufficient? Or are you confused too? Please, am I taking crazy pills? Because sometimes I feel like I am. Oh, wait, before you go, I have a new gaming channel. It's called Too Snoopy, Too Horse. Yes, after Too Fast, Too Furious. I will be playing non-horse related games over on that channel. I'm really excited. Next week, baby, next week, my Baldur's Gate Let's Play is coming. Thank you so much for watching.